now we are at the Indigo Blue Art stall and we have with us Suman, the director, and she's going to take us through a very interesting lineup of works for the show here. Suman.
Thank you, Amrita. Yes, welcome to our booth. We are showcasing a series of sculptures titled The Babu, the Naika and the Cat. And it's basically a set of sculptures by Tapasukar, an eminent Bengali sculptor from Calcutta. And he has been working on this body of works, which actually I have a special affiliation with. The genre is from Kalighat painting, and this is an art form which sits in Indian art history between 1830 to 1930, and it is an art which is one of the most unique of its kind because of who it was made for, who it was made by, and who it was basically painted of. So let me just take you through a few of the works we have on display. So, start with the Babu. So the Babu, this is probably the most painted subject in Bengali art. And in the genre of Kalighat painting, this is very, very much a favorite subject because this was a group of artists who were chronicling the changing landscape, the social landscape of colonial Calcutta. So here we had a group of Babus who aspired to be very much like the British. They wanted to dress like them, they wanted to act like them. They had lifestyles which basically mirrored those of the British rulers, and they distanced themselves from the everyday Indian middle class. Their wardrobe was basically the Western clothes, the trousers, the jacket, but there would be symbols of the Indian culture there, so the shawl. And the chair is like the Victorian chair, which was an emblem of theatre, which was coming into this Victorian Calcutta. The pose is 2/3 to the viewer. The look on his face, he's in absolutely no hurry to go anywhere. And ideally, in most of the sculptures of the Babu, you had the Prince Albert hairstyle, you had the angular moustache, so they were very odd-looking people who they were basically called the fopish dandies, and just a very, very sort of set back, very lazy lifestyle. Okay, moving on. So we've got the Babu the Naika. So we've got here a take on the Naika. There's actually two examples. There's one lady who is seated and one lady with a peacock. So the Naika in Bengali is the heroine. And here we've got a lady with a peacock, which is it's a subject which appears in miniature art. And it actually is a very, very favorite subject in Indian art, period. And it's basically a woman who's yearning for she's pining for her lover to return. So this is sort of symbolic of her lover. She's holding him tight. But what the Kalighat painter did was he was observing the shift in the change of the status of women. So he's making her quite seductive looking. He's exposing the breast. You can see all the pleats of her fabric. That's reminiscent of theatre and photography that was coming in from Calcutta, the colonial Calcutta that the British introduced. You've got this beautiful, the Kalighat eyes. And the colouring itself is very, very much direct from the Kalighat genre of that whole palette. Very, very vibrant. It was popular culture art, and so the colours are very, very street colours, very bright and very, very vibrant. And again, you've got here this one is titled Blue Seduction, and here she's just seated again. Most Kalighat paintings of women have got one breast slightly exposed, and the eye is very much like a Jamni Roy eye. And again, the makeup, the hair, the folds of the sari, again, very, very reminiscent of Victorian Calcutta. And then you've got the cat. So now the cat with the prawn was a metaphor for the hypocrisies in society. So you have this cat who is actually a priest, and you can see his makeup, the forehead makeup, like a priest. Now the priest is of course a very pious figure, very God-fearing, he's vegetarian, but what is he holding in his mouth? It's a prawn, which he obviously plans to devour in secrecy. So this was just representative of the hypocrisies in society. And these Kalighat painters who were painting and chronicling society were actually great observers of the many vices in society, and with their background, you know, they were potters, they were scroll painters, they were carpenters, so it was a combination of all these skills that came together and produced this genre. And so what we've done is we've basically blown these up into 3D, and they come out in life size. There's a lovely yellow one through here. So they're naive, they're innocent, but they are, you know, they're very voluptuous. So they capture the form of the Kalighat. And then we have some images of where these are inspired from, so you can. It wasn't about the shading; it was about just the voluminous, the form. So it's very rounded, and the accentuated eyes, and the tail, and the so you can see it on the cats as well. And Kalighat, of course, went on to inspire some very, very significant artists. In Europe, it inspired Picasso, Fernand Léger. In Indian art, it inspired Jamini Roy. We've got two examples of Jaminis out here. Jamini is, of course, a national treasure in India. And he was painting under British rule and basically stopped painting in the very, the Dutch sort of expressionist style, and came back to a very, very folk idiom content in his works. And they're just charming, very, very naive, and just very simple. But it's again all about the line. And what he did with the Kalighat line was he added a second line, so he had the double Kalighat. And then the other artist is, of course, George Keat, who we have in here. So George Keat was actually a Sri Lankan artist, but comes under the umbrella of Indian art. He lived in India, he painted in India, and he actually met Tagore during his lifetime and became a published poet. Yeah, yeah. But again, look at the lines, look at the form. You know, it's minimalist shading. It's all about just capturing the sort of the form, and they're all very, very seductive. So the whole, when you have this beautiful form, it's just, and the eyes, it's all about the seduction. So hopefully this is what we're giving you here. And you might want to take the cat in the window. Did you get that?
Very interesting cat.
That okay, so most Kalighat paintings have got the curtain on top, and the curtain was representative of photography, and it was representative of the theatre. And again, it's the pleats, it's the folds, and here we've actually had one made onto a little window, and this is how you would really see, if you were looking at it, this is how a 2D image would look, but it is actually 3D, so very charming. And this one's got Hare Rama, Hare Krishna written all over it. I can't read Hindi, so it's in Bengali, yeah. And again, this is the metaphor for the hypocrisy. This is the priest with the prawn. And the red cats inside, they're titled Bostam and Bostami, and they are a Hare Rama, Hare Krishna couple. Okay. So they're like the, what are they called? The scam artists in Britain. So they're it's like a couple who they're ploying to do something which is not very religious. They're plotting to do something. So quite charming.
Thank you so much,
Oh, you're very
Suman.
welcome.
Thank you so much for for this, and we really had a great time at your
Well,
stall.
you're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah.